did not go broke. We have enough money in our reserves to continue operation.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. That was Continental Airlines Tulsa manager Gary Gilbert explaining the airline's decision on Saturday to seek a financial reorganization under Chapter 11 bankruptcy laws. News 8's Gene Young was at the Tulsa International Airport today to find out how Continental's move is affecting travelers leaving from Tulsa.
Continental Airlines has voluntarily filed for reorganization and will operate its international system but temporarily interrupt its domestic service until Tuesday, September the 27th, when it will resume a large portion of its domestic schedule.
That's the message Continental Airlines has been passing along to travelers since company president Frank Lorenzo announced the financial reorganization late Saturday. But there were still people showing up at the Continental counter trying to find out just what they should do about getting where they wanted to go. For some passengers, there wasn't much of a problem at all.
Not really any. I just made a reservation at United, and they sent me down to the United desk and got a ticket in about an hour delay. It's not really been a big problem.
Yet for others, the prospects of making other arrangements were pretty bleak.
Well, they said that Continental has gone bankrupt, and so I can't get back to Houston. That's a problem.
Okay, any prospects for getting back?
Not that I know of right now.
So what do you get to do?
I guess I get to stay in this lovely city of yours.
And there were still others shortchanged for the Continental Travel Bank Plan, which offers free tickets based on previous mileage traveled. Chris Callahan was supposed to fly Continental Monday.
I'm supposed to pick my ticket up today with Continental for the Monday flight. As of now, all travel bank tickets have been postponed until Tuesday morning when they reopen.
Did they say on Tuesday that you would still be able to fly on travel bank?
They are not sure at this point. They don't know any answers to that.
Callahan says his plans have been in the works for months, and if Continental can't come through on his ticket, he'll be staying in Tulsa. As for Tulsa's Continental manager, Gary Gilbert is bandleading the local optimism that Continental will make it.
Basically, I guess what we're saying is we're very optimistic what happened, that we're going to come back, and I think you're going to see someone who's got a tiger by the tail. We're going to be very aggressive, we're going to be lean, we're going to be mean, and we're going to be operational and making a profit.
Gilbert was very quick to point out that Continental is not in the same category as Braniff when that airline had its financial trouble. He says the airline's overseas divisions are still flying and will be joined by domestic service again shortly. Continental employees and management here in Tulsa are confident about the future, and positive outlook is carrying over to the people that were planning to fly the airline. Still, Continental itself won't be leaving the ground until Tuesday morning, and airline officials are telling people to plan accordingly. Gene Young, News 8 at Tulsa International Airport.
In other news tonight, the east bank of the Arkansas River is set for some new and expanded development. Harbor Properties says it plans to construct a new park and residential area between 61st some new and expanded development. Properties says it plans to construct a new park and residential area between 61st and 71st Streets along the river. Harbor Properties Vice President Joe Westervelt says the park will be a recreational gift to the public and the city. The park will include a running bicycle path and a road that would lead up to the new residential area. The park will cover about 11 acres and building could start as early as next June. From Lebanon tonight, a ceasefire. Or is it? All parties agreed to a ceasefire earlier today, and President Reagan even called Lebanese President Gemayel to congratulate him on that accomplishment. Well, despite the truce, a half hour later it took effect. Guns were blazing once again. Now a new ceasefire has been approved, and that ceasefire is scheduled to take effect at 11 Central Time tonight. In the latest fighting, 2 U.S. Marines were injured at the Beirut airport, neither seriously. For a time, the Marines were put on full alert. Fighting between the Lebanese army and Muslim rebels spread from the mountains to Beirut's south side. Marine peacekeepers were forced to abandon 2 checkpoints to keep from getting involved. The search in the Sea of Japan for debris from the Korean jetliner is also slowing down. Authorities are pessimistic they'll find anything new, and the Japanese have already cut back on the number of vessels involved. The Soviets are reportedly doing the same. A U.S.-Japanese team is on its way to Sakhalin Island tonight to pick up debris discovered earlier by Soviet search teams. That incident has had a chilling effect on U.S.-Soviet relations, but President Reagan will try to patch up some of those hard feelings tomorrow. The president travels to New York and the UN, where he'll unveil a new nuclear arms proposal for the Soviets. Aides to the president say the new proposals are aimed at breaking a U.S.-Soviet negotiating deadlock on nuclear arms control. Patching up strained relations with Red China is the job facing Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger tonight. He is in China, unveiling liberal new guidelines on the sale of U.S. high-technology goods. Administration officials are quick to point out that no new weapon sales or agreements are expected to come from Weinberger's trip. Well, a lot of people in this country are also worried about the development of high technology, as evidenced by the recent telephone strike. High tech will replace a lot of workers in the future. Tonight we show you a new area where the computer age may make disc jockeys obsolete.
So here we go with Digital Rush on 98.
Spinning a disc in a radio station could soon become history. The newest technology is the laser red compact disc audio player. Sony's provided radio stations with the machines to introduce the system. They in turn plug Sony. Discs provide a wider range of frequencies with less rumble or hiss. Disc jockey Chris Taylor says listeners can tell the difference.
If you're listening on a car radio, an average car radio, it wouldn't be as noticeable. You would just notice that it was a very clean reproduction. But if you got somebody listening at home on a pair of good-sized speakers with a good system to back them up, the response is usually very positive.
The discs won't scratch or break, and they cut storage space. 80% of the discs out now are classical, but that's changing. By the end of the year, 400 new titles are expected on the market. Program Director Andy Lockridge says the cost of switching to a digital system is not that high.
It's really very minimal. Assuming the record companies will supply us with the discs, the machines are $1,000 or so, and we've just built a new studio and it's ready. All we have to do is get the material to play.
Lockridge predicts Laserdisc will be the industry standard in 2 years. Others say it will take a decade. How soon depends on the availability of records the stations want to play.
Coming up next, Keating gets tough and kids' TV gets better. More in a minute.
There's more for your life. Cheryl Teagues is here, Die Hard 2. Winnie's got the looks for you. There's more for your life at Sears. In store for you. Bright ideas, Kenmore too. Craftsman has the tools for you. There's more for your life. In store for your life. There's more for your life. That's Sears.
Today, millions of Americans are suffering from a disease they won't even admit they have. The disease is alcoholism. And alcoholism kills. But with treatment, drinking can be stopped. Of course, no one approach works for everyone, but every alcoholic needs to seek help. If you're an alcoholic, you don't have to call Raleigh Hills, but you've got to call someone.
The toughest phone call you'll ever make is the one that can save your life. Call Raleigh Hills now.
An accidental fire today took its toll on a South Tulsa home. Fire officials say a spark from a handheld torch set the roof ablaze after a contractor had used the torch to help in removing gutters from the house. The damage was put at about $75,000. Fire officials say no one was injured in the fire as the owner was out of time when the blaze got going. No chance for immediate freedom tonight for that Bulgarian official arrested yesterday on espionage charges. Authorities say the official has been ordered held without bond. Pinu Konstantinov was arrested after he allegedly bought U.S. nuclear secrets from an undercover federal agent. Reports say he had been trying to make the purchase for about 2 years. Selling drugs will probably mean stiffer penalties in the future. U.S. Attorney Frank Keating says his office is going to argue for stricter prison sentences for drug dealers. His comments came in a 3-page speech at the sentencing of a Tulsa man convicted on a cocaine charge. Keating says in the past his office played a nominal role in criminal sentencing, but from now on, Keating says, a stronger and louder voice will be heard. A 20-year-old community college student is dead tonight after a freak accident on the Long Beach, Washington coast. Steve Edican of California was attempting to launch a giant kite to set a world record when he got caught in its cords yesterday. Witnesses say his ankle got tangled in the line, hoisting him 100 feet into the air. Edican did manage to free himself from the line, but was unable to hold on as the kite plunged downward. Authorities say parafoil kites of that size have many brittle lines, and launching is an extremely hazardous venture. Critics of television programming say what your child sees on the screen nowadays, even on kiddie shows, is hazardous to their health. Well, mentally anyway. That's why some broadcasters, commercial and public, are trying to improve the quality of the shows they produce for young audiences. We examined their endeavors in the concluding part of Kids on TV.
Bert and Ernie and their friends on Sesame Street have helped make this children's show the highest-rated educational program for youngsters on public television. Sesame Street's considered an educational masterpiece.
I only let my children watch Sesame Street, Electric Company, and shows where they can learn things from rather than, you know, hitting somebody on top of the head and beating each other up.
You know what it needs to do?
Sesame Street's been teaching children on public television for 14 years.
Each season, new concepts, new directions are added to it, and a broad range of material is taught by the show.
Now in my hour of darkness, there's a sound I know will comfort me. It's the bub-bub-bub-bub of letter B. Letter B.
We want to be as entertaining as any network program is, but at the same time we have a very real commitment to educational goals which the network does not have.
But some commercial network programs do teach as well as entertain. ABC's Schoolhouse Rock is the highest-rated educational program on network television. The ABC after-school specials, which depict young people solving personal problems, are critically acclaimed.
Television is an influence on children, and we really, as broadcasters, have to be very mindful of that. It can be a negative influence, but it can also be a positive influence. And that's where we're spending most of our time trying to do something positive.
Television's influence on child consumers has helped force some changes. For the last 15 years, Action for Children's Television, located here in Newtonville, Massachusetts, has been keeping a close eye on the children's television industry.
Children's television is more like the comic book shelf in a drugstore than the shelves in a good library. And what ACT's trying to do is change that situation and do something about commercial abuses targeted to children and help parents understand that that box in the living room is not necessarily a friend of the family.
After much prodding, the networks have made some changes. The amount of commercial time has been reduced during children's programming. Vitamin commercials have been removed. A program host can no longer endorse or sell products. And broadcasters must place separators before and after commercials. The separators help youngsters distinguish between the program and the commercial.
And now, these messages.
So while critics still think TV aimed at kids is pretty bland, there are efforts to improve what children see every time they turn on their TVs. I'm Alice Killian reporting.
I drove into work today. I saw a few sprinkles on my windshield. I thought, oh great, we're going to get some rain, but it's not working out that way. Travis, what's the problem?
I tell you, it just fell apart this afternoon, and I tell you, those sprinkles are just about all that we're going to see in the forecast. But we do have some nice weather coming up, a little bit on the summer side, so hold on.
This furniture is made of solid oak, upholstered in a fine velvet for the ultimate in dining comfort. A chair that's on rubber casters, a chair that swivels, a chair that rocks like a big office chair. The table with a split pedestal and a leaf, $1,200 to $1,400 worth of furniture. You buy it all for $799. This set at John F. Lawhon's.
I'm sorry I have to rush, honey. I'll call you tomorrow.
It looks like old home week. There's Howard Stone. What'd you do that for?
If you'd like to stay a while, Kate, I'll be glad to drive you home.
And you don't have to wait up for me. I have my own keys.
You know how Dad's been working. Mom probably's been feeling a little neglected.
I don't want Mom feeling neglected at Hatfields with Howard Stone.
8's your place for family, weekdays at 3.
Hey, Vern, why don't you fill out your United Way fair share pledge? You know why, Vern? Because they help the young, and they help the old, and they help the sick and the shut-in, and they even help the wife. Why? Why not?
This year, give. The United Way cares for Tulsa.
Oh, come on, Vern, they need the money. Get earnest about the United Way. Know what I mean? A raindrop keep falling on my head.
That guy's incredible. Well, across much of northeastern Oklahoma, we have had cloudy skies and some sprinkles around, as Larry was mentioning, but that's just about all we're able to muster, as we have a very weak upper level disturbance, and that's just not really doing what it should be as far as giving us some heavy rain showers that we'd like to see for a change. We had cloudy skies all day. We still have them around. 79 degrees outside, 49% humidity. Southwest breezes now at 8 miles per hour, 30.13 and rising is a barometric pressure reading. Today's high officially 80 degrees out the airport. Morning low only 66. Now that compares closely with normals of 82 and a low of 59. In fact, a little warmer than that. Record book 99 back in 39 and 43 back in 26. Tonight on radar, just a few little sprinkles showing up. Most of this activity are showers that are just falling halfway down to the surface of the earth and then evaporating. But we do have one shower sitting up to the northwest of Stillwater that's of moderate intensity. But other than that, we have mostly cloudy skies in the northern half of the state. Look how the temperatures reflect the cloud cover. Down to the south, where they had sunny skies during the afternoon hours, 85 at McAllister, 87 at Hugo. Compare that with 73 degrees up at Chanute, 72 over at Joplin, where they've had cloudy skies. That's a rather large temperature difference just in the Channel 8 viewing area. Well, satellite pictures more or less identify that storm system and cloudiness there. You can see the clear skies in southern Oklahoma, the clouds extending all the way up into the Great Lakes area. They have had showers over the last 12 hours, especially in Missouri, where anywhere between a half and 1 inch of rainfall was quite common in some areas. That was a nice little rain. Really, this cool front is very weak, not doing too much in forms of temperature. It's just 55 degrees at Chicago this afternoon with cloudy skies, while it did warm up to 82 at Bismarck. Very mild temperatures really for the most part across the entire nation. We are watching a fairly strong storm system up in the upper levels of the atmosphere setting up in the Pacific Northwest, and that could be affecting our weather by late in the week. But between now and then, looks like super warm temperatures. Closer into our area gives you a little bit better view of the cloudiness across Oklahoma with those few scattered showers and thunder showers embedded in that cloud mass, while down to the south of us, sunny skies prevail, and temperatures generally in the 80s to around 90 degrees in Texas. Well, tomorrow afternoon, showers and isolated thunder showers will be down along the cold front that turns more or less into just an upper air disturbance, and the cold front is only noticeable up in the extreme northeast part of the United States. Temperatures will still be very mild, generally ranging in the upper 70s to 80s across most of the nation, while up in the Pacific Northwest, a fairly strong system begins to work its way in. You can see the temperature dropping down to 59 degrees at Seattle by Tuesday afternoon, while temperatures still generally in the 70s and 80s across a large portion of the nation, with us picking up southerly winds and showers remaining along the coastal areas. Looks like we should be in for some fine weather, very close to summer temperatures, though, as we move back up into the mid to upper 80s, maybe near 90 by Wednesday. Well, taking a look at statistics, no precipitation, September 2/11. Normal is 437 for the entire month, and in the crop forecast, only trace of precipitation likely yet tonight. 8 to 10 hours of sunshine tomorrow, high drying conditions, and a light dew in the morning, burning off around 9:30. So the forecast tonight, variable clouds. It'll be mild. Overnight low down to 63 degrees, south winds 10 to 15. That's nice. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm, 85 degrees by afternoon, west to southwest winds at 10 to 18. Then tomorrow night, fair and mild. Looks like the skies will be fair and mild and partly cloudy skies, 62 degrees, west winds at 10. Oh well, extended forecast calling for temperatures to be very warm by Wednesday and Thursday into the mid-90s, maybe low to mid-90s, and that's fairly warm for this time of year. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Summer shadow effect coming up, 65 degrees in the morning. That's plenty warm for me. Larry?
All right, Travis, thank you. Some great football action today and some action that wasn't so great. I'm talking about the Dallas-New Orleans game.
That was a great game.
Bad example.
Kind of a bad example of how to play, but it was awful exciting.
It was exciting.
It was very exciting. We'll take a look at the highlights when we come back.
This is the toughest prison in the world, the prison of alcoholism. Life in it is a nightmare. It's a life without joy, without dignity. And the saddest thing is that drinking doesn't have to be a lifetime sentence. At Raleigh Hills Hospital, we can help end the nightmare of alcoholism and give you a taste of freedom again. Raleigh Hills Hospital. The toughest phone call you'll ever make is the one that can save your life. Call Raleigh Hills now.
Don't let the high cost and confusion of necessary business research get your company down. Now you can have thousands of dollars worth of current Tulsa economic data right at your fingertips. The Tulsa Economic Monitor contains pertinent historic information, demographic data, construction activity, the economic outlook, and special reports concerning the Tulsa area. It's all right here and more. For more information or to order, call Economic Development, City of Tulsa at 592-7681. Proceeds go to the further development and expansion of Tulsa.
Jason Robards, and I'm alcoholic. I thought only losers became alcoholics. Then I learned.
Your area.
It's week number 4 of the NFL pro football season, and already going into today's action, there were only 2 undefeated teams left. The LA Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys. And today, Dallas was playing at home against the New Orleans Saints. What a game it was. Danny White to Drew Pearson. Quickly, it's 10-0 Dallas, but New Orleans comes back. Quickly, Wayne Wilson dives over from the 1, and it's tied up at 10 apiece. Both teams then trade field goals. Then Wayne Wilson again. A repeat performance, instant replay. Saints lead at 20-13. Fourth quarter, New Orleans trying to add to its lead, but this field goal blocked by Too Tall Jones. Ron Fellows picks it up as his 35, goes 65 yards for the TD. It's 20-19 Saints because the extra point was blocked. But the Cowboys win it by sacking Ken Stabler. Bad mistake in the end zone with only 2 minutes left. Dallas 21, New Orleans 20. Minnesota had a 17-point lead over Detroit, but this TD pass of 41 yards to Mark Nichols and the Vikings barely escaped. In Philadelphia, St. Louis quarterback Jim Hart was hot. Here he hits his receiver for a touchdown. On the other side, though, Philadelphia's Ron Jaworski was getting hammered. That hit sent him out of the game. He did come back, though. Spit it out. Needless to say, he came back. This interception, nonetheless, though, St. Louis went on to win. Let's go to the scoreboard. Dallas beat New Orleans 21-20, as we were talking about. Minnesota whipped Detroit 20-17. Cardinals on top of the Eagles 14-11, the final there in Philadelphia. The Bengals beat the Bucks 23-17. Buffalo hammered the Oilers 30-13. Miami on top of the Chiefs 14-6 despite 7 turnovers. New England beat Pittsburgh 28-23. Franco Harris, now the second all-time leading rusher, passing O.J. Simpson. In overtime, Baltimore beat Chicago by 3, 22-19. Third quarter, Frisco leads Atlanta 17-13. Rams and the Jets tied up 14 apiece in the third quarter. Redskins lead Seattle 20-10 now in the fourth period. Cleveland on top of San Diego in somewhat of a surprise. 21-10 the score in the third quarter, and LA leads Denver in the third period by the score of 10-0. Yesterday, college football, the Oklahoma Sooners slipped past the University of Tulsa 28-18. Running back Earl Johnson got the Sooners started in the first half with this long touchdown run. They then added 2 more TDs on the ground before going to the air. Danny Bradley, Buster Rhymes, the redshirt junior from Miami, does the rest, going 70 yards for the score. OU leads at 28-zip. But T regrouped and scored 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns to make it close. Eddie Hamilton scored the first one. Tulsa then added 2 more scores via the air. For OU, Marcus Dupree saw no action. Then backup tailback Earl Johnson was injured. And for Barry Switzer, the OU coach, he felt the close game was no way to win his 100th career contest.
Not exactly. Happy to win the ball. I mean, I tell you what, we will have to struggle offensively right now. I just don't know. We don't have any backs out there. I don't know if Marcus will be back. I don't know how long Earl will be back. I hate to take a fullback Tillman, put an eye back. He's never worked there. Other fullbacks haven't played. I don't know what we'll do.
A lot of problems. As for Oklahoma State, they knew what to do with Texas A&M yesterday, already trailing 6-0. Adam Hines gets this interception on the deflection to stop the Aggies from increasing the lead. Then just a few seconds later, running back Sean Jones running 80 yards the other direction to give the Cowboys the lead for good. On the day, Sean Jones had 203 yards rushing. The Cowboys added 2 more TDs in the first half, both coming on pass plays from Rusty Hilger to Jamie Harris.
We didn't have much time to throw the football. He wasn't the primary receiver on the play, but like I say, we had so much time to throw the football. Jamie just ran the route down the field. I found him and just laid it up for him, and he made a great catch.
The Cowboys put the game away with this interception by James Ham.
I was thinking about trying to get to the end zone as best, or look for my blocking. If there was anybody close, I was going to fall to the ground, but I didn't see anybody close to me, so I just kept running.
And he kept running right into the end zone. The Cowboys win it 34-15. Overall, in college football yesterday, it was a rough day for teams in the top 20. 6 teams in the elite group lost. Ohio State lost to Iowa 20-14. Washington got plastered by LSU 40-14. Kansas, with 385 yards in the air, shocked USC 26-20. Notre Dame was embarrassed by Miami of Florida 20-zip. Pittsburgh was nipped by Maryland 13-7, and Boston College down to West Virginia by 10. Third-ranked Ohio State got upended by Iowa, which is ranked 7th, and the biggest damage came in the air. Upcoming here, Cliff Long hits Dave Moritz for a 73-yard bomb. Last minutes of the game, Iowa wins it by the score of 20-14. And as for West Virginia, the 12th-ranked Mountaineers used hard-hitting defense to whip Boston College, as we said, 27-17. Turning to Major League Baseball today, let's take a look at the American League. As you see, Detroit beat Boston 3-2, but nonetheless, Baltimore has captured the American League's East pennant by beating Milwaukee 5-1. New York beat Cleveland 6-4. Minnesota on top of Kansas City 7-1. Seattle beat Texas 2-1. In the 6th, Chicago on top of the Angels 7-2. First inning, Toronto and Oakland are scoreless. In the National League East, Montreal beat Pittsburgh 5-3, as you saw here on Channel 8. Atlanta beat LA 7-1. They're now 3.5 games back. In the 8th, Philadelphia on top of the Cardinals 4-3. The Reds beat San Diego 5-2, and the Cubs clobbered the Mets 11-7. San Francisco and Houston are just getting started. This reminder, the America's Cup 7th and final race will be run tomorrow. The U.S. and Australia are tied 3 apiece. The reason they didn't race today was because Liberty captain Dennis Conner had asked for a day off to make last-minute adjustments. We'll be back tonight at 10. Until then, that's sports.
All right, Jack, thanks. A very special day this afternoon for the folks at a Tulsa retail chain. Quick Trip stores are marking their 25th anniversary as a convenience chain in Tulsa and surrounding states. And at the site of the first Quick Trip store today, an open house to commemorate the event. Now, on the silver anniversary, Quick Trip has 257 stores in northeast Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, and Iowa. Tulsa is home for many stores, and northeast Oklahoma has a total of 78. Here's what you might call a big story. Milton Beckner of suburban Pittsburgh stands 5'5" and weighs a hefty 245 pounds. And he says he's fed up with the notion that thin is in. Although happily married, Beckner says he understands the problems of heavier people trying to find dates. So with the help of a home computer, he started a dating service for over 8 people called Heavy Dating. So far, about 30 people have joined the club. And that's our early report for this Sunday evening. We'll all be back tonight at 10:30 after the movie. Good night.
Be a part of News 8 by reporting news tips to Channel 8's telenews number, 445-8888.